Okay, so I'm going to call roll. And maybe by the time I get through it, we'll have a quorum. So Alexa Anderson?
I'm here. I also just want to let you know Andrew Hertrick is coming, but he's going to be a little late.
Yeah, he had sent me an email.
Okay, good.
Thank you. Heather Bout? See you.
Yes, there we go. Hi, good morning.
Yeah. Peter Fishalis?
Here.
Yeah. Morning, Peter. Dawn is not with us today. She's on her way to Florida for a soccer tournament, I think. Okay, Andrew's coming a bit later. Tim Holt?
Here.
Lori Hunter?
Good morning.
Mark Howell? Mark with us? I don't
Yes,
see
I'm
that.
here.
Oh, okay, great. Thank you,
I'm
Mark.
gonna have to leave at 10 after 8, just for the
Okay. Okey doke. I'm here. Chris Popov,
Here.
Charlie Parker,
Here.
Matt Root,
Good morning.
and Steve Stashewski. I think we have a quorum, so we're going to start off with the approval of the minutes from December 19th. Anybody got any questions or corrections? Everyone get a chance to look at them? Okay, So-
We approve them.
okay, thank you, Mark. Do we have a second?
Second.
Okay. Alexa?
Yes.
Okay, Heather?
Yes,
Peter Fishalis?
Yes.
Tim Holt?
Yes.
Lori Hunter?
Yes,
Mark Howell?
Yes.
I say yes. Chris Popov?
I'll abstain. I did not attend the meeting.
Okay. Charlie Parker?
Yes.
And Matt Root?
Yes.
Steve Staszewski with us. No, I think that's it. Okay, looks like that passes. Heather, you want to give us a correspondence update?
yes, absolutely. We just had one email asking about, and actually it's a good update asking about our subscribe function on our website, which is not working right now. It's just a matter of some back-end transition, and we're working on it. So if you're trying to subscribe to our list, please hold tight. We will have it fixed soon, and we'll be able to. I think that's it for incoming correspondence. I want to do a quick update on communications. I will keep it quick. Everybody should have gotten our latest construction update that also said, hey, less than 6 weeks to go, time to count down. So we're working on a countdown plan, basically. Relatively simple, straightforward plan using all the vehicles that we've used before. But I want to do kind of now that we're this close, countdown to the opening, 6 weeks to go. Alexa has started putting stuff up on the social media channels with countdown stuff there. We're looking at doing some focus, deep dive into some different areas that we've talked about around the planning of the building, teaching, sustainability, all that kind of stuff. Let's see, Tom Lucy is helping a lot, as always, writing up a bunch of the verbiage, and he and I and Lori and I met with the bridge the other day to make sure that we're giving them everything that we possibly can so they can do some good coverage on this, and they're very excited about it. They're looking at a couple of different articles in the next 6 weeks leading up to our opening, hopefully focusing on some of the same things. So not all definitely determined yet, but maybe the team teaching model, how things are going getting in, talking to some different voices who are part of this process. So we're hoping to do a bunch of get a bunch of visibility out there in the next 6 weeks. One of the big headlines, of course, being that we are running on time and under budget. So we want to make sure we make that very clear to the town, and tell the story about how successful this process has been so far, obviously, as we near the end of phase 1. So that's very exciting. The bridge is on board to help. Carrie, I'm glad you're on here. I'm going to reach out to you also. I know last time, Carrie, your comment was about this being the best kept secret, and we want to make sure that's not the case.
Mhm.
So I want to work with the town too and make sure we can just kind of do that hand in hand and make sure all these messages get out. So that's it at a high level. I can do more detail or answer any questions.
Heather, thank you. I was thinking this
Sure.
morning how important it is and how great it would be if part of this rollout could show the visuals of the learning commons, the team teaching spaces, how that works, because that's such an important part of this building, and people may have a hard time visualizing what that means.
Definitely. Yes. We want to start sending out a bunch of photos, especially as we get closer and things are really taking shape and look more like school photos and less like construction photos. So we will do a lot of that. We've also talked about doing a video going through maybe, and we need to talk to Justin about this, but maybe even, once the kids are in, some type of the new school through the eyes of the students or teachers or something. So a bunch of ideas in the works, none of which are totally planned or nailed down yet, but yes, visuals will be a huge part of it. And then another part is the physical. So we're going to try to get as many students and families into the school to tour it before opening day, if possible, which is just kind of whoever's around and we can make it happen for during school break. After that, once we get through opening, we will also open it up at some point to the community. We want to do community tours. This town and staff and the whole community have been so supportive of this happening, and we want to make sure we share the school with everyone. So we will definitely provide opportunities for community members to get in and see the school in person. And one other thing that will be happening is the day, it'll be kind of a community recycling day, where once we've decided what we don't need in the new building, we'll invite the community in to take little pieces of their Sanborn and Peabody hearts with them. And, and take things that we don't need. So that will come up and be announced at some point pretty soon too. So definitely we want to get both images, videos, and real eyes on this school for everyone.
Love to have a piece of that Sanborn gym floor.
Oh, I know, really. Everyone needs some Peabody lockers in their house, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know how much demolition we're aiming to do here, but
Right. I'm kidding. I don't want to promise lockers.
this is all scheduled for the Saturday, the 15th of February from 10 to 12. We're about to get messaging out. We gotta,
Okay, good. I
we
wasn't
have
sure
to
if I
do
could
it right
say that.
after the kids get out, because then we need to prep the building for demo. So
Yeah.
Saturday morning of February 15th is the day.
And
Right.
Lori, can you remind us when we're having our the school committee and the building committee
Yeah.
walk through?
Yeah, and I just want to clarify, that is not a posted meeting. You're not going to deliberate or talk about anything. You're going to tour and enjoy. And so it's not a public session. It's just to give you some eyes on where we are. January 22nd at 1 o'clock.
Okay. And the other thing at the chairs meeting yesterday, there was a question about a ribbon cutting and how we will be thanking and honoring all those folks.
Yeah,
folks
we
that are
haven't
here
gotten that.
today.
Yeah, we're not ready on that one yet. We're focused
Yeah.
on the certificate of occupancy and the kids moving in.
That's a good
I think
idea.
that'll be, and Justin can talk, he's got a good amount of school-based things planned to both celebrate leaving the old schools and whatever. I don't know if you want him to do that now. But in terms of a big formal appreciation and ribbon cutting, that's going to be a little down the road.
Okay. Well, Justin, do you want to say a few words about, as long as we're on this topic?
Of course, I'd be happy to. Am I able to share my screen?
I think,
Sure.
Ian,
Be able to.
yep, it's up to you.
All right. Can everybody see my screen?
Yes.
Oh my goodness.
Love that.
Great image.
It's so great.
So this image captures the theme that we're taking as a school community, unifying both Sanborn and Peabody. I think many on this committee knows that Peabody was the second of the two buildings opened in 1970. Sanborn opened in 1965. So very excited that we're taking on a unified theme. For those who are not in education, I just want to pause and share that the word unified has a connotation of inclusion, especially in the special education world. And we are newly a unified sports school community. CCHS has been a unified sports community for a number of years. And just like everything else in public schools, things often start in high school and then trickle down until, into the middle school. And that is happening in middle schools in the area as well. So this happens to be during the same time that we are starting a unified basketball season with other unified middle schools in the surrounding area as well. So I just want to kind of go through this website in very short fashion. This website has been available for our middle school families, I think, for about 3 weeks now. And our advisory program called Home Base has been interacting with this website for about 2 weeks or so. So here are the different things that have been available to our school community, including the important dates that are connected, of course, to our move. We have an opportunity for home bases and for students to submit questions about the move and read the answers to the questions that are submitted as well. Different maps, including what was just published today, where each advisory or home base will be located. Most importantly, though, I guess I want to draw your attention to the different events that we're looking to have that are closing our two building model and opening the new building as well. So I'll first draw your attention to the Peabody to Sanborn Winter Unified Fun Run Walk and Stroll that is happening on Thursday after school, which is the last Thursday, the last day of our two building model on February 13th. So this registration form is open as of today, and all advisories and home bases will be walking through this registration form. We are working with the Concord Police to close the roads between Peabody and Sanborn so that our last event as a 55-year history of the two building model will be everyone from our school community who participates and registers will be a part of this unified fun run, walk, and stroll. It will be a fundraiser to help those families who are in need of support for the 8th grade Washington, D.C. trip. And the way the fundraiser works is that the participant who wants to participate in this just has to get sponsors. And the sponsors are putting forth a donation or a pledge to donate whatever the temperature is at the starting line on this day of this winter race. So if Heather sponsors me, the participant in this event.
I'm in, Justin. I'm sponsoring you.
Thank you, Heather. And we are running flagpole to flagpole. So starting line is the flagpole at the Peabody building. And if the temperature reads at like 3:15 is when we'll probably start the race. If the temperature is 28 degrees, then Heather, I will collect $28 from Heather following this event. And all that money will go again to families who have put forth financial need for the 8th grade Washington, D.C. trip. I want to just, so that is our closing event of the two building model. And then our opening event is something that school communities have been doing in this last few years. We're going to bring all the students in that Monday, February 24th, into the gym, have a first ever all school 3 grade assembly in the gym. And then we're going to have our very first unified basketball game which some school communities have decided to do in front of their entire student body because it is that much of an amazing event. And we really just want to go down in, the history of this new building, that the first ever event was adaptive athletes, Special Olympic type of athletes who will be participating in a basketball game during the morning of our very first school day in the school in the new building. I'm going to pause there. There is a Unified Voices project that we are in the very beginning stages of that will be kind of a digital time capsule, but I think that will probably be shared at another time.
Justin, that all sounds wonderful.
It's incredible. Thank you
I'm
so
really-
much for taking us through it too.
Yeah, it's just
Of course.
wonderful. Charlie, you've had your hand up for a while.
Yeah, I think the publicity plans are great. I really looking forward to seeing how some of that turns out. I would like to have us think about what we're going to do to publicize the net zero and high performance aspects of the building. I think that's kind of, something to really celebrate. If this is the first
Absolutely.
net zero building, public building in Concord, and the first obviously public, net zero public school. And I think, this is something that we're committed to as a town. I think something that people follow closely and many people are interested in. And I think that, the job that we've done here is pretty superior in terms of basically covering the entire waterfront of issues and requirements. And I think that this is a real good opportunity to kind of show off some real innovation. So not sure
Absolutely,
what the right
Charlie.
time is to do that or how, but I think the bridge should be involved in that. And I think that whatever we can do is also going to be is going to be helpful.
Definitely, Charlie. I think there are a couple different things we've talked about on that front. One is we're already talking with the bridge about an article focused on sustainability itself. We do have to be careful now as we're talking that when we open, we'll be net zero ready, not quite net zero yet, but eventually we will be net zero. But yes, we want that to be a big focus. That's absolutely one of the themes that should be its own standalone article and discussion. We've talked about, bringing in some sustainability experts to hear voices from outside our group about what we've done. We can also, one other thing that's about, I didn't mention all the details, but another little piece of what we can do in the next 6 weeks is, aside from the articles, we're looking at maybe an op-ed, and also looking at having a couple of different voices. It could be from the full committee or from voices within or related to the committee. Do letters to the editor, which we can do as many as we want, but we can do a bunch of them on different themes. So that's another way to address that. So yes, Charlie, completely on board with you. And if you have specific ideas, feel free to reach out to me separately. But we are absolutely on top of that.
And one other quick comment. I think that the notion of net zero is a lot bigger than the solar stuff.
Of course it is. Oh, there's so much more than that.
The fact that it's electrically heated, the low infiltration rate in terms of blower door tests and air sealing and so forth, and the electric heat, just all across the board, there's been boxes checked and, some good work done. So
Oh, definitely.
we don't have to wait for or be too much caveat-y with respect to the solar stuff, because that's going to come later. So anyway,
Completely agree. That's, to some extent, that's a very small piece of it, that there's so much more.
That's right. It's a small piece of it.
Integral design of the building. So, yep, absolutely. I'm right with you there. Oh, and you know what? One thing I did forget to mention that's important is Erin Higgins has been doing an amazing job with the website. She's keeping it up to date with photos. And that now has a second-by-second countdown going on the website also. So cmsbuildingproject.org, if you are there, that's a great site also, and has a bunch of updates and photos and the countdown in case you lose track of how many seconds left.
I don't want to speak for Matt, but I think Matt and I are available to help with this publicity on the net zero stuff and ideas about it and so forth. So
Terrific. That would be great.
check in.
Okay, absolutely. Thank you. That's great.
Alexa, I see your hand up.
Yeah, thanks, Pat. this is a question, I guess, to Justin. Your communication plan to the school community is literally so exceptional. I mostly repost your posts on our own Instagram because they're so spectacular, and I just want the community to see them. But I'm wondering, Justin, if you wouldn't mind if Heather and I published your plan for the student community to our list. I think that seeing what you're doing is important for those folks who are not a part of the school community. You know, Charlie just mentioned there are so many people interested in sustainability, for instance. And I do think there's a whole community of, you know, non-parents who are in fact interested in what you're doing. And I didn't know, before we just sort of took it and ran with it, I just wanted to make sure that there was nothing sort of proprietary or for privacy reasons that you wouldn't want us to share, because I would love to share what you're doing.
Yeah, of course.
Okay, great.
Yeah, we welcome it, and thank you so much for the compliment.
Oh, yeah.
You know, the only thing, I think this makes sense. The only thing that I would say is, you know, part of that social media rollout is, you know, we have been posting for every day we're in school a fact.
Yes.
Now, our facts, though, are really focused at putting at ease the students and the children who are part of this move. You know, I did hear from a member of the community that was curious about, you know, why the facts haven't been really focused on the actual building. And I just needed to remind gently, you know, that member that, you know, my role is to help support the transition of the kids into the new building. So, you know, we'll eventually get to a place of celebrating the building and personifying the building as a teacher. But, you know, right now we're really focused on with the kids, things like, you know, your schedule really isn't going to change, you know, and putting kids' anxiety to a place because, you know, this is a big change for them. So, you know, I would just add that is all.
Great.
That's great. And I'm glad you mentioned it too, Justin, because we have talked about, you know, facts and tidbits and did you know, and little kind of bites that the community can grab onto that are quick and easy and digestible, both through the newspaper and through our own vehicles. So we might do something similar that's more building oriented.
Sure.
And
balanced.
Charlie and Matt, I might ask that if you have any very short and like snippy facts that we can share. And again, Instagram text needs to be short and sweet and easily understood by all diverse folks. You know, so speaking in plain language, if you guys want to give us some facts that you might want to share, we could do the exact same thing that Justin is doing for the students, for the community. So again, I've been reposting Justin's posts because I do think a lot of those facts that Justin is sharing are also relevant to the broader community. So if there's something comparable that you want us to share out on social media in regards to sustainability, that would be, I'm always looking for content, so that would be more than welcome.
Pat, I'm just going to jump in real quick. I just want
Yeah.
to say that I thought the communication group, Heather, you guys are doing just an amazing job getting the word out. I've talked to so many people who are so thrilled about the project. One note, I did talk to a couple of parents who were concerned about sixth grade, in that they like the setup now of sixth grade being kind of separate. So Justin, just something to be aware of, and note that we might want to stress how the sixth grade group is all together in that area that we saw, so that parents know that and know that they're kind of in their own ecosystem there, but part of the school.
Of course, of course. Thank you for that.
And I will just add one thing. I think it would be great if there could be some links to what the unified represents in this bringing together of the two schools, and this built environment that supports inclusion of all kids, something that we've been working on for decades in this town. So even just a link that for those who are curious about, well, what does this unified, as you said, it's something bigger than just we're bringing two schools together.
Pat, I would just add, we're not at all ignoring the name of the building as Ellen Garrison. That's in the mix here as well.
Yes.
The Robbins House is kicking off some of that theme with an open house over the break for families to go in for free. We're going to weave it into the unified unity, just things you've been talking about, and just want to be sure we name that. It's in the mix. While I'm saying that, I'm going to let you all know the sign is not going to be ready. So we're getting banners made so that the name is very clear to the community, even though the steel on the brick signage won't be ready for the 24th. So I'm sure that's in our updates later on, but might as well mention it now. So
Thank you for mentioning it, Laura. I forgot to mention that. And that was one of the other themes we've talked about with the bridge, even of doing a really in-depth article and a look at Ellen Garrison and who she was and why she's important and why we named the building after her. So that's something else that should definitely be front and center.
yeah, and that's in its infancy. As we get through construction, you can really start to figure all that out.
Right, right.
And this is a lot, and I just want to acknowledge that we are, yes, get that certificate of occupancy. That's
Yes.
that's going to be preoccupying and very important. Anybody else have anything on this topic? Okay, Ian, you want to take us through the OPM update?
Yep, absolutely. Thank you. I really appreciate the updates this morning on the communication side, and as part of the construction team, we sometimes lose sight of why we do what we do, and so this is just great to hear all the buzz that's going around town, and everything that you guys have planned. That you're doing an excellent job, so appreciate that. Jumping into the updates here, let me share my screen. So pretty typical meeting today. Nothing out of the ordinary on the agenda, just going through the financial update and then giving you guys a construction report. So taking a look at the budget summary here, we were able to flush out quite a few of the change orders recently, so we appreciate your help in that and getting some bigger change orders approved. We do have some forecasted changes still, some smaller changes here at there's probably 15 or so that comprise this number here of 137,611 for forecasted changes. But we're closing in on the finish line financially as well with phase one. So, our expenditures to date are close to 72 million. It's basically there's phase two billings are right on the horizon. So almost there. I don't think anything changed on the architectural and engineering front. Administrative costs, we do have some library moving costs. We were able to make an award to a vendor to move all the library books and infrastructure over. So that's included here. What else? FF&E got a few updates there, but there's at this point just a bucket left for technology, a few final technology purchases here in the uncommitted costs. Otherwise, we've purchased everything we need to for FF&E and technology. Starting to get those deliveries in the building. So contingencies here, all in, we've got the current contingency at a little over 8 million, and that totals out the project costs at 111,516, and the expenditures at 83 million. So that's where we're at overall financially. Any questions? No. Cash flow, just balancing everything out through January of this year for estimated and actual expenditures, and then just projecting forward the rest of the costs for the budget. You know, I can say confidently at this point that we're not going to be spending all the money, but we do project it. We do project it out. So here's the cash flow graph. So we're right there on phase one completion, and we'll be stepping into phase two very soon. Getting into some of the details here. This is the TRC log. So things that have happened since last month. We did need to buy some soap dispensers as part of the FF&E. So we had an overrun on the original number that we had for FF&E. So can't really get around not having these things in the building. So we moved forward with purchasing and moved money accordingly from the soft cost contingency to cover those. So that's what this transaction is here, the $15,145.91. We've got two new change orders from CTA, 39 and 40, and we'll go over those later. And then this is the library move here that came in at $22,820. These are the budget adjustments that we did to cover these costs. So again, covering the soap dispensers for FF&E, and then the two change orders for CTA. And then expenditures. These are some of the smaller expenditures that happened this month because the meeting was earlier in the month. This time around, we are still in the process of reviewing and being able to approve the CTA requisition, which is around 2.8 million. And then we have progress payments for Lero Hill and SMMA as well that are in the works, but not quite captured yet in the budget. So contingency usage. So hard cost contingency, we've got 57% remaining for hard cost contingency. Soft cost, we've got 68% just for those two buckets in particular. So any questions at this point? I can step into the change orders and review those. Okay. So I did want to circle back with you. Last meeting we talked about the winter conditions costs and finalizing those with CTA. Just wanted to show you the final number here. You guys voted to approve that. I personally missed some markups on this change order, so we made those corrections. And I think what we presented was a little over 150,000. It ended up being 151,763 and 72 cents with the markups corrected. So just wanted to show you that number. The same thing with the additional PM costs. That final number is 67,771. So just making some markup adjustments there per contract. So the two new change orders, I'll let Jen speak to these, but this is PCO 66R1. So this is related to the infrastructure in the parking area. where we needed, because the PV arrays aren't going to be there on day one, we needed to make sure that we had all the lighting and security in place for the opening of the school. So this is adding some infrastructure to accommodate that. And this is something that we flagged as a cost that CMLP is going to cover. This was reviewed and approved by the TRC, I think last week. So anything else to add, Jen?
No, other than I think the original PCO was around 90,000. So we were able to sort of work that down and track it on time and materials. And so, you know, in the best interest of CMLP, knowing that they're funding this, we wanted to make sure we had, you know, a good price, better price for them. So we were able to get that down to 55,000.
Next change order has a number of PCOs here. So this is change order 40. This was reviewed and approved by the TRC as well. But we can run through the individual changes.
Yep, there's 5 PCOs with this one. PCO 68.1 are roof edge revisions. So this is at the main entrance canopy. There were some adjustments made where for coordination purposes, we deleted a roof drain, which we had previously had a PCO for that change, and it was a credit of $4,000. So as a result of that, later on down the road, we have these wood look panels that are incorporated into that canopy, which resulted in those being a little bit larger. So there was some added material costs related to that. So that's reflective of this $10,214.38. But as a result of that entire change, if we'd taken that credit, it's really only $6,000 add overall. The next PCO is 83.1, and this was what Lori was referring to earlier of the site sign name change. We made that change to the sign that will be along Old Marlborough Road. So that added some additional letters. So that resulted in the $3,510.26. PCO 92, just some minor plumbing adjustments to alter some of the hose beds in the kitchen just for coordination. So it was $2,143.59. And then PCO 95 is a larger number here, but later on in Ian's construction update, you'll see a photo of, we have these GFRG, which are gypsum wall panels that are mounted to the wall on this subframe system. And just the original design, the design of the subsystem is a delegated design. So it's not something that we design. When it was actually installed, you could see a lot of that framing. So we needed to finish it off on the sides. And I think you'll see some pictures later that, so this is just a result of some added drywall finishing. And it's just because of the size of these panels, it was a lot of work to kind of finish that off. So that was $48,913.58.
We should just clarify, that's in the auditorium.
This is in the auditorium, I apologize. Yep. And then the last PCO is 101. It's just a post indicator valve. It's a valve for the fire sprinkler system. We have tamper switches on those. Just so no one is, if anyone's tampering with them, there's an alert that gets sent to the control system. So there was just some additional controls so that we made sure that those switches were on the valve. That was $6,514.59. So the total add for this change order is $71,296.40. I don't know if anyone has any questions.
Seen none. Great. Thank you for the update.
No, thank you.
So that's the last of the financial presentation, and we'll jump into construction. So,
Ian, can you enlarge your screen?
is that a little better?
Yeah, that's better. Thank you.
Okay. So there's a lot of talk about counting down. We're certainly counting down the days as well. Every day counts at this point for us, and there's a lot happening on site. Not just the construction side of the business, but we've got furniture coming in, we've got technology coming in, we've got a lot of people touring the building and doing some pre-inspections and just making sure that we're checking all the boxes. The certificate of occupancy was talked about a few times, and that's what our goal is, and that's what we're driving for right now, is just getting that certificate in hand, so we're ready to go for moving day. So that said, building C is substantially complete at this point. So we've got the academic wing of the building substantially complete. They are working on some cabinetry installations at this point, as well as some punch list work, just kind of button up some final things there. They've got cleaning in progress as well. We've started the furniture deliveries this week. So we started placing furniture into the spaces yesterday, which is great. And starting to see the spaces really in their finished condition and ready to go. So building B, we've got overall, we got the MEP finishes and paint substantially complete. Space by space, we've got the media center that is still has a lot of finished carpentry happening in it, with some of the wood slats and finishes going in place. Flooring as well is in progress. The cafeteria is 75% complete with the finishes, and millwork is ongoing. Starting to put down carpet in the offices, which is one of the last trades in those spaces. The art and language rooms are substantially complete. We've got the kilns moved over from the existing school, and those are being installed and coordinated, and we're looking to get those signed off by the end of the month. Building A, we've got servery, kitchen, basically getting all the equipment in place. The kitchen's in great shape. The servery, we got to finish the equipment there, but trying to get that all in place by the end of the month. Auditorium made really great progress on the GFRP panels, and you'll see a photo of that later. But that's kind of the big trade working in there. They've got some flooring happening on the stage as well.
Ian, can we
gym,
just be sure, I'm sorry to interrupt. Can we just be sure this committee understands the auditorium is not going to be ready for February 24th, which we expected and agreed to. So that'll be a March completion.
Yep.
Thanks.
Good point. Gym, the flooring is down at this point. They've got sanding in progress, so they're trying to finish up the gym floor in the coming weeks. The locker room flooring's in progress. Site work is phase one substantially complete. They finished up the fire lane access in front of the school for occupancy, and then phase two is going to commence in the spring when the weather breaks. Other highlights on the commissioning front, MEP commissioning, we had a progress meeting on the 7th. CTA still doing all the pre-functional checklists. We had a successful startup of the generator on the 20th of December. The BMS system is going to be online in the coming weeks. So that'll be a big step in the right direction to have kind control of those things and start working on the control side of the equipment in the near future. Building envelope commissioning, they're working on punch list on the roof level, trying to button up some items on the roof, and then we have the whole building air leakage testing prepared for this Saturday. A lot of coordination efforts happening for that to get the building sealed up and ready to go and pressurized this Saturday for that testing. So all hands on deck for that. It'll be good to get that testing completed and see the results of that. So we've got a few final window tests scheduled for the end of the month. That'll wrap up the window testing, just to go back and cross all the T's, dot all the I's for the window testing. At this point, we have all the cabling infrastructure with Verizon, Comcast, CMLP. That's all complete. Concord IT has been in the building working and putting in their infrastructure, wireless access points, things to get the internet up and running in the building. So we do have internet in the building at this point, which is great. And so we'll continue with that effort as well. I probably the only other thing to highlight is, we are intently tracking all the items that we need for the certificate of occupancy. So we have a tracking log that we're using for that, for all the various departments that are involved. There are sign-offs that are required from various departments and things that we need to meet per the special conditions for the permit. So we're actively tracking that on a daily basis, on a weekly basis. We have a meeting with CTA in which we go through their deliverables and their side of that. But that's something that we're really pushing on at this point. So some progress photos here, just showing you some completed spaces in Building C. We've got some of the equipment in the home ec room here, just a finished stairwell. Those are buttoned up at this point. This is the media center and work in progress with the carpenters. So a lot of woodwork happening in that space. We've got the carpeting, as I mentioned, and the offices going down. We've got the language classroom, completed language classroom to the left here. These are the kilns that came over that are being put in place and hooked up with power and exhaust. Here's the cafeteria space and kind of where we're at with this, and you can see some of the furniture has landed here as well for these built-in seating. Servery to the left here. Flooring's down. We're just kind of awaiting some equipment in that space, and then this is a progress snap of the kitchen. You can see everything that's going on there. Gymnasium with the floor down. And the auditorium. So you can see progress on the panels overhead and some of the finish work. We've got some paint going on as well. And then to the right, this is the flooring operation shifting over to the stage area in the auditorium. So this is the subfloor that they put down, the layers of subfloor that they put down before they start putting in the floating floor. And that's it. That's all I had for photos.
Chris, I see your hand up.
Ian, thank you so much. It's a great rundown. I gather from all the details you provided that your inspections, working with the various town inspectors has gone pretty much as you've anticipated. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, no, absolutely. It's I what I like about this project is that we've had so many various departments from the town that have been engaged all the way throughout construction. And so it makes it easier at the end of a job when everybody's already engaged, already know what's going on, and they've been kind of tracking the project all along. So that's been really helpful. And yeah, everything's been going so far so good, and we're just gonna keep on it. So yeah.
Excuse me. So is that
Sorry,
it?
Pat, I would use my hand, but
Oh,
I
I see.
forgot. Can I add one more question? Just like last time, and if you could send those photos, that would be great because we can use them
Sure.
in our
Yeah, I can do that.
Erin will get them on the website and everything. Thank you so much.
Not a problem.
Matt?
Ian, just a quick request for any recent mechanical commissioning reports that have been issued.
Yep. Yeah, we can send those along.
Pat, it's probably worth me giving, Justin hopped off, so I'll do this, but we've started packing. And the teachers got boxes a week ago. They're getting time. Any meeting time we had in the month of January and February has been given over to them to pack. There's a really positive energy as that happened. I actually thought it would be more stressful, and there's a lot of nice momentum building about the move because they're visibly changing things and packing. So thanks to Gail and Hunter, we're very well coordinated for getting out what we need to move over and then getting out of the way so movers can start corralling all the furniture and all the things that are going to be donated or recycled or wherever they're going. So it's a really highly choreographed process. And we're so far so good. The goal is that all the teacher belongings are moved over the afternoons, late afternoons of February 10th through the 13th. They have a full PD day on the 14th, and we're hoping they've got the data unpack and sort of go off on vacation feeling like they're at least ready for the first day. It's really exciting. It's really exciting. So we're really busy. I'm not going to understate how much work it is, but it's all really exciting and all for good, exciting next steps. So
Yeah, this is really wonderful. Chris?
Yeah, it just, Lori, to your packing point, I suspect it helps morale to know that you have a cool looking destination in sight right nearby.
Yeah, I think that big visual is definitely motivating. And I'll stress it's not packing only, it's purging too, which is always a positive outcome of moving schools. They'll take only what they need. So we're finding, who knows what little gem we might find in that, treasure troves of Sanborn and Peabody.
I can't imagine.
I don't know. So lots of activity on every front at this point. So
yeah, that's great. That's great. If there's nothing else on the construction, any new business? Any public comment? I'm not seeing anything.
Hey, Pat, I'm sorry, I can't.
Yeah.
I'm struggling to find my button.
Oh, well, Wilson, we'd love to hear from you.
Okay, I'm sorry. I can never quite find the reaction button. Just watching this meeting, I've been watching these meetings now for 3 or 4 years, and I know there was a letter in the paper in the Bridge this week, which was probably said it better than I can this morning, sitting here up early drinking my coffee. But I hope you guys realize the incredible gratitude of parents of all community members to the work you guys have done. It is absolutely stunning. It is not there yet. I understand you guys are close to the finish line, but the hurdles you've overcome, the teamwork, the management of these calls, all of the hurdles that you guys have gotten through, it's just staggering. And I think Carrie LaFleur sort of opened it up, as I wasn't on last week, by saying it's the best kept, best run secret in Concord, maybe in the history of Concord. It's just absolutely incredible. So I'll keep it short and sweet, but there's not a lot of people that get up and listen to these calls, and I'm just representing myself here. But I think I might be speaking for literally thousands and thousands and thousands of people when I say thank you, thank you, thank you. These calls are going to get quicker and shorter, and then all of a sudden it's going to be rocking and rolling. But just unbelievable appreciation for this team and all of its different elements. You know, Charlie bringing up the sustainability part, Justin representing the needs of the children so eloquently and representing that part of it as so important and balancing that out against what Heather was talking about with the need to make sure the community is informed. And this theme of unification. You guys are a unified team with lots of different perspectives and different opinions, and just incredible gratitude. And I just wanted to say that this morning.
Thank you, Wilson.
Thank you.
Definitely appreciate that.
It's really nice to hear. Thank you.
Yeah. Next step, Ian? Next meeting?
Yeah, next meeting. Let's see, it's the third Thursday in February, so you guys should have gotten an invite. It is the 20th of February. So
Which is
Well,
over
understand
break.
That's over the break. I think we should
Yeah.
probably, we might want to go a week earlier, and it's the break.
all right, we can move that up to the 13th then.
I think so.
Okay. Yeah, great.
Yep.
Great. Okay, well then, I will adjourn this meeting, even though I would like to say more and more and more and more about what a journey this has been, and really how this committee has performed has been really very, very amazing. But I'll stop. So I call this meeting, do I have to ask, can I call this meeting adjourned? I can never remember.
Yes.
Okay, we're adjourned. You can go have your breakfast.